today we're going to be discussing how to interface your keyboards digitally. And what I did with this setup at least, was I purchased the Roland SH201. And this is it's a relatively expensive keyboard. But it has a lot of digitally sampled analog sounds. So this keyboard gets a very warm sound. It has like the Prophet, the ARP, the Odyssey, emulator. It has all those old 80s and 70s keyboards. But they're digital, but they've been sampled from analog keyboards. And what I always do when I buy a keyboard, I always make sure it's got general MIDI. Even if it's a less expensive one, as long as you have the MIDI, you can transfer your sounds from this into this. And then what I'm doing is overlaying this one's less expensive sounds, it's more inexpensive ones, on top, so you can hear the chimes. Whereas this one, you can't. It separates out. So what you're doing is you're going this one, using it as your MIDI controller. And you can also use it as there's all types of different settings on this one that you can change it. And the deeper that you go into the software, the more sophisticated the sounds. And also it has an arpeggiator on it. So you can use that and actually set it just to a bass setting, and then so you can do leads over it like that and use it like a bass. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going MIDI in, yeah, that's I'm in MIDI in, going over here to MIDI in also. So yeah, and so I'm doing this keyboard, and then I have this one back here, which I use more for like warm type of synth choir string type sounds. These two here, neither one of them were really super expensive keyboards, but by having the MIDI, you can actually take your settings from this and then create, as long as you have a good set of keys, which what this one does, has a real nice set of keys, and so does this one. So as long as you have that, you have a good keyboard that you can work with. So using this as your bass keyboard and your MIDI controller, you can go here, into here, and then out into here. So all three of these are synced together. So by the time you get to this keyboard, you've got all three settings going into it. And this one I think has over 200 just straight patches. And then by using all your software, you can, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if I can lift it up, but I'll probably drop it. You can there's just unlimited amounts of sounds that you can get. Like this, for instance, like I was showing you. And then you come over to split. And it also has what's called a portamento, which you hit your note down here, and then come up here, and it will raise the note like this. So that's always a nice effect. Keith Emerson uses that a lot, especially in the song Lucky Man. That's kind of the signature of that song. So, and then what I'm doing with this is I'm using this more for sax, vibraphones, and then mostly just standard piano. And I'm running that actually through a cheap speaker right here, so I'm not going through my main one, which is this, which would be a Yamaha 16-inch with the large horn. And then what I'm doing is preamping it with the little amp. So actually what I'm doing is running all three keyboards at the same time into the big amp back here, so it saves on cables and like stepping on all this stuff and stuff like that. And then this one, if I use my mixing board, I run them all together at the same time. So like I say, the main thing you want to always make sure is that you have your MIDI outputs, and they're these little ones right here. They're like a little round thing with your prongs, so going to 3-prong thing. And so by doing that, you don't have to spend, you know, $5,000 to get a good keyboard set up. You just need the one really good keyboard, and then you can sync everything together from that. And actually, I have a drum machine down here too. Here it is. And this also has MIDI. So I can just MIDI that in also. So, and it's not a very sophisticated drum machine though, so. And then I have my Porta Studio down there, so I can backtrack stuff. And then just play to that, so you can like layer down, you know. And then jam over that, or just, you know, your regular synthy, you know. And then just play over that. So, you know, with just the setup, I've got the 4 keyboards and the 3 amps. You can just, there's really no limit to what you can do. In fact, with this one, you can even get orchestral settings. Let's see. Yeah. So you can actually write a lot of symphonic stuff, you know, just so there's no limit to what you can do with this. In fact, you can actually pretty much just go out and jam by yourself at some place. So anyway, that's the conclusion of our MIDI thing, and always helps to have some cherry Coke, you know, keep your blood sugar cranked up, and keep yourself thinking straight, and like that, because when you're messing with this stuff, it gets very complicated. Okay, that's the end of today's thing.